Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Wednesday, November the 15th. We've got 8 games on Wednesday, guys, and I'm going to give you a quick game-by-game breakdown of this 8-game slate, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Tuesday night. Now, as always, before we get started with the breakdown, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, and if they help you out, please hit that like button down below, guys. I always appreciate the likes. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you have never heard of PrizePicks, we are partnered up with PrizePicks. You guys can check out PrizePicks, linked down below in the description, or just when you sign up for PrizePicks, make sure to use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit match up to $100 when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. And for those of you that don't know what PrizePicks is, they are a player prop site, so they're really, they're mainly focused on player projections. You can see they have props already posted for Thursday's games. Not much is on the board right now, but if you take a look at the board again, or not Thursday, but Wednesday, take a look at the board again on Wednesday. Look at some of the props they have available. Wednesday afternoon, you'll see a ton available from every game, and points props, rebounds, assists, ton of different categories you can look at. PrizePicks, it's really easy, really simple to use. You're just picking more or less on a player's projection. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks on PrizePicks, and you can win up to 25x your money. So if you guys want to check them out, if you don't have an account over on PrizePicks, make sure to sign up and use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. But let's go ahead and talk through this slate for Wednesday, guys. And we'll start off with the first game of the night, Dallas and Washington. We'll start off on the Dallas side. So for the Mavericks here, worth noting, they are on the second night of a back-to-back. So we could maybe get some guys get ruled out here. I would be surprised if that happens. For now, I just think we have to assume everyone's playing. And for Dallas today, obviously, if we're going to be talking about anyone here, it's going to be Luka and Kyrie. I think this spot is great for both these guys. I mean, Dallas defensively, or Washington defensively this season has been one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Washington's been playing at one of the fastest paces in the league. The matchup doesn't get much better than this. I think Luka is in a fantastic spot here. I think he's one of the best pay-up options on the slate. He's expensive at $12,100, but if value opens up, or if it's if we're able to build lineups with Luka, Luka's someone I definitely want to prioritize today. So really like Luka here. Don't mind Kyrie either. Kyrie's a guy that I really haven't played much at all this season, but we've seen Kyrie be a lot better lately. He's shown a much bigger ceiling, and this is a matchup that I think Kyrie could definitely have a ceiling game here. Probably wouldn't play Luka and Kyrie together, but if you want to play one of the two, I think it's pretty likely that one of them has a good game in the spot. Now, the rest of the Mavericks, I don't see too much else I like on this team. The offense and the usage is just so concentrated around Kyrie and Luka that it's really hard for the rest of these guys to have much of a ceiling. And where they're priced at, like, none of these cheap guys stand out. So it's pretty much just Luka and Kyrie for me on Dallas, and that's it. On the other side with Washington, so Washington this season, they've kind of been a frustrating team to play in DFS because they've gotten blown out a lot. Their rotations have kind of been all out of whack. But typically, I think if we get a competitive game from the Wizards, you should expect 30-plus minutes from Kyle Kuzma, from Jordan Poole, probably from Tyus Jones as well. Kuzma has had the most secure role of all the Wizards starters, and his minutes have been the most secure as well. This matchup against Dallas, I think is fine for Kuzma. At 8,100, I don't have an issue going to Kuzma today. Jordan Poole at 6,800 has kind of been a frustrating player this year. Not really shown a huge ceiling. He's kind of struggled with his efficiency. The minutes have also kind of been volatile, but as of late, we're starting to see the minutes get back to normal for Poole. Washington has been able to keep some of their recent games close, which has allowed Poole to play 30-plus minutes. At 6,800, I think is a GPP option. Poole's totally fine to go to. Don't mind Tyus Jones either at 5,700. His minutes have not been as high as I would like, but at 5,700, I think he's still playable here. I don't think there's any standout plays coming from Washington, but you can sprinkle in the starters. I don't think I'd go to anyone off the bench. Now, Bilal Coulibaly did have a really big game off the bench, and we've seen the last 2 games, he's been getting a lot of run, 34 minutes, 33 minutes. They didn't have Danilo Gallinari last game. Gallo is back for this game, so I think that might have been one of the reasons that you saw so many minutes for Coulibaly. But without DeLon Wright, right now, I mean, there's more minutes available just kind of all around. And this is a young guy that I'm sure they probably want to get some, looks at. So I think he probably plays like 25 to 28 minutes here. I don't think we can expect 34 minutes again, but you're probably 25 to 28 is where he should be in. At 4,500, he's a playable value. I would just temper expectations a little bit. Just I don't think he's going to play 30-plus minutes like he has the last 2 games, especially since they have Gallo back for this one. That's probably it, though, from Washington. Like, nothing else really looks that great here. Do want to mention that it is a really good spot for Daniel Gafford. The Mavericks have been really bad defensively against centers this season. They've given up a lot of points in the paint. We did see Gafford get up to 26 minutes last game, and I think that probably was because they didn't have Gallo. Now that Gallo is back, Gafford's minutes are definitely more volatile, but Gafford is one of these players that when he does get minutes, he will produce, and when he's played like 30 minutes this season, he's been productive in pretty much all those games. 28 minutes, 28 DraftKings points. 30 minutes, 33 DraftKings points. 30 minutes, 33 DraftKings points. Last game, 26 minutes, 36 DraftKings points. If you told me before the slate started that Gafford was going to play 30 minutes, I would like him a lot at 5,400. I just don't know if that's going to happen. He could play 22 minutes. He could play 32 minutes. There's a wide range of outcomes here. But for GBPs, if there's no ownership on Gafford today, he's someone that I do like in GBPs. But that's really it for Washington. Let's move on to the next game, Milwaukee and Toronto. So for Milwaukee today, Giannis is probable, so he's expected to play. If we're looking at the Bucks here, I think the only guy from the Bucks I really have interest in this spot is Giannis, and I still don't even like this spot a ton for Giannis. Toronto's a good defensive team. They've historically done a good job slowing down Giannis. Giannis did really struggle when they played Toronto earlier this season. At 11,100, Giannis feels priced about right on this slate. Not a standout option, but definitely playable. I think I would rather get up to Luka though. Like if I had to choose between Luka or Giannis, I would rather play Luka. The rest of the Bucks, I'm pretty much passing on here. This is not a team I want to get too invested in today. And on the other side with Toronto, so OG Anunoby and Gary Trent were both out last game. They're both, I don't think, OG's not expected to play, neither is Trent. So they're both listed as doubtful for today. So with OG and Trent doubtful, we actually did see Otto Porter Jr. start last game. Now, he only played 14 minutes as a starter, was not super productive. If he starts again, like I think he's playable, but obviously, given he only played 14 minutes last game, there's definitely not a guarantee that if he's starting, that's necessarily going to mean he's going to play big minutes. They have a lot of guys they could give those minutes to. They could play Chris Boucher, they could play Malachi Flynn, they could play Grady Dick, they could play Jalen McDaniels. There's just a wide range of outcomes when it comes to these bench guys for Toronto. If I'm going to play anyone on Toronto here, I probably want to be focused on the main guys, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Dennis Schroeder, Jakob Poeltl. Specifically, Barnes and Siakam are the two guys I like most. Barnes has just been amazing this season. He's had a huge role, rebounding the ball well, getting assists, getting defensive stats. He's just doing everything this season. The scoring has also been way up for Scotty Barnes. The matchup here against Milwaukee, I think is like okay. I mean, Scotty Barnes did have a really big game against Milwaukee earlier this season. He's just going to have a bigger role without OG. Minutes are going to be through the roof as long as this game's competitive. So don't mind Scotty Barnes. And then we did see a really big game from Pascal Siakam last game against Washington. That was a really good matchup against a team that struggles to defend the paint. This is obviously a much different matchup today against the Bucks, a team that's historically been really good defending the paint. So don't like this matchup nearly as much for Siakam, but we know Siakam does have upside, and I think without OG, that's going to secure him for big minutes. Usage is going to be even higher. I don't mind Siakam at 8,700. I would rather play Scotty Barnes if I had to choose between the two, but I think Siakam's playable. Dennis Schroeder at almost 7K, I'll pass on. Jakob Poeltl at 6K, I think's fine, but don't love the spot for Poeltl. Plus, with Precious Achiuwa back, I think that does hurt Poeltl a little bit. The only other guy that I'll mention from Toronto is Grady Dick. I think Grady Dick's the guy that could really get a lot of those minutes that OG and Trent were playing. I think he's the guy that we could probably see play like 25, 28 minutes. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they start Grady Dick over Otto Porter here. I just think Grady Dick's probably the guy they want to be playing. He's their young rookie. They probably want to see what they have in him. But even if he comes off the bench, I think we probably get like 25 minutes from Grady Dick, which at 3,500 does put him in play for value here. So I did want to mention him. But that's it for Toronto. That's it for that game. Let's move on to the next game, the Knicks and the Hawks. So for the Knicks today, got to keep an eye on the status of RJ Barrett. He was a late scratch last game with an illness. Listed as questionable for today. If RJ Barrett gets ruled out, the guy that's going to really step into a bigger role is going to be Josh Hart. Josh Hart last game played 43 minutes in place of RJ Barrett, had 34 DraftKings points. He's 5,700, so we're not getting much of a discount on Josh Hart here. He's definitely appropriately priced today. But if RJ Barrett is out again, I would have some interest in Josh Hart. I don't think he'd be like a slam dunk or anything, but he'd be at least playable. And then obviously Randall and Brunson are going to have really big roles if RJ Barrett's out. I think this is a pretty good matchup for them against Atlanta. I definitely like Randall and Brunson today. I think they're in play regardless of if Barrett is in or out. But obviously if Barrett's out, that just makes Randall and Brunson look even better. So definitely like this spot for both Randall and Brunson. If I had to choose between the two, slightly prefer Randall, I think. Just think the matchups may be a little bit better for Randall. I think Randall's going to contribute more with those peripheral stats as well, whereas Brunson's a little bit more scoring dependent. But both those guys, I think, look good here in a good matchup in a fast-paced game, or it's what should be a pace-up spot for the Knicks. The rest of the Knicks, though, I'll pass on these other guys. I think it's just Randall and Brunson for me, and then if Barrett sits, I do have some interest in Josh Hart. But moving on to the other side of this game, so got to keep an eye on the status of Trae Young. Trae Young was questionable Tuesday for personal reasons and did not play. It's the second night of a back-to-back for the Hawks. We kind of saw who benefited without Trae Young on Tuesday. DeJounte Murray was the big beneficiary. He had a massive game. Pretty sure he put up like over 60 DraftKings points. He's priced up to 9,100 today. At 9,100, I wouldn't have as much interest in DeJounte today as I did on Tuesday's slate, but I think he would still be playable if Trae Young is out. If Trae Young plays, I have no interest in DeJounte at that price tag. The rest of these guys did get priced up a little bit, like Jalen Johnson is 6,700 now. Clint Capella is still affordable, but it's a really tough spot for Clint Capella. Bogdan, I think, still looks good at 5,400 if Trae's out again. No interest in Bogdan, obviously, if Trae plays, but if Trae's out again, I do like Bogdan at 5,400. And I think DeAndre Hunter would be okay as well at 5,300. But it's tough to really break down this Hawks team until we know if Trae's playing or not. If Trae is in, don't like much here. Maybe you could go to Trae and GVPs, but if Trae's out, I think DeJounte, Bogdan, Hunter, still look very solid. I would say Bogdan at his price tag would probably be my favorite of all those guys if Trae's out again. But let's move on to the next game, Boston and Philadelphia. So for Boston today, got to keep an eye on the status of Kristaps Porzingis. He is listed as questionable for this game. If Porzingis does not play, I'm assuming we would see Al Horford start. They're probably going to want Al Horford in this matchup going up against Joel Embiid, assuming that Embiid plays today. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Horford would be the guy that would step into a bigger role if there is no Porzingis. And obviously, if Porzingis is out, if he does get ruled out, that's just going to get more, that's going to cede more usage to Jason Tatum, to Jaylen Brown, to Drew Holiday. I think all these guys would get a little bit of a bump up if Porzingis does sit. Now, the spot against Philadelphia, don't love this matchup. I think this is going to be kind of a slower-paced, lower-scoring game. But we know Jason Tatum can put up a huge game any night. Tatum is someone that I really haven't been playing much at all this season. He's only had like one big ceiling game, and that was the first night of the season against the Knicks. Really, the Knicks have been the team he's killed this season. Every other team he's just kind of been okay against. Look, Tatum's fine, but not a priority for me. I think Jaylen Brown at 7,800 looks solid. Obviously, he would look a little bit better if Porzingis got ruled out. And then Drew Holiday at 6,900 is fine as well. No standout plays from the Celtics right now, but this Porzingis news will be something to monitor. If he does get ruled out, I think that makes Tatum, Brown, and Drew all look a little bit more appealing. And then I think Horford would at least be a viable option at 5,500, but I wouldn't be I don't think I'd be running to roster Horford or anything if even if Porzingis sits. But that's it for that side of the game. Let's talk about the Sixers now. So the Sixers, they're on the second night of a back-to-back. Joel Embiid was questionable for Tuesday's game and wound up playing. I think there's a pretty good chance Joel Embiid does not play today. I think just because it was the front end of a back-to-back, they were planning on either they were going to play Embiid Tuesday and sit him today, or they were going to sit him on Tuesday and play him today. I don't think Embiid's going to play today, but I guess for now we just kind of have to assume that he is playing. Obviously, if Embiid's playing, you could go to him at 11,600, but I think this is definitely a tough spot against the Celtics. The Celtics are like the one team this season that's kind of been able to keep him in check. He only had 54 DK points against Boston. At 11,600, we obviously want more than that from Embiid, so probably not going to go to Embiid today, even if he plays. Tyrese Maxey at 9,500, I'll pass on in this spot. Tobias Harris, I'll pass on. Really, I don't like any any Sixers here. Robert Covington did start on Tuesday. We'll have to see if he starts again here. He started in place of Nicholas Batum, but Covington wasn't great. I played him in my main lineup on Tuesday, and he was pretty bad. He didn't play a ton of minutes either, so hard to get super excited about Covington, even if he starts again. But obviously, on the off chance that Embiid winds up sitting on the second night of a back-to-back, that's just going to benefit everyone. Now, where these guys are priced at, like Maxey 9,500, I think Maxey would still be playable, but I wouldn't be slamming Maxey into my lineups at 9,500 if Embiid's out. I think Tobias Harris at 6,600 would look really good if Embiid's out. I think Melton at 5,500 would look very solid as well. And then obviously Paul Reed at 4,400 would be a great value play on the off chance Embiid sits. I just wanted to mention that just because it is the second night of a back-to-back, and I think we could see the Sixers rest Embiid here. But for now, we just kind of have to assume he's going to play. But let's move on to the next game, Orlando and Chicago. So for Orlando today, still no Wendell Carter Jr., still no Markelle Fultz. Obviously, the price tags have kind of already been adjusted for this injury news, so there's really not a ton of value to go to from Orlando. But you can play guys like Paulo Banchero. You can play guys like Franz Wagner. This Orlando team, they're a team I really haven't been targeting much in DFS this season. I haven't played many of these Orlando guys so far this year, at least lately. Now, when there were, when like there was value, that I was playing some of these guys, but all these price tags have kind of been adjusted to where they should be. So don't see a ton I like on the Magic today. The Magic are also a team that's going to run kind of a deeper rotation, so it's just not a team I really want to be heavily invested in. You could play Paulo, you could play Franz. You could maybe play Goga, but it's just not. There's not much that stands out here. I know Anthony Black has been starting lately, but he's just not a good fantasy producer. Last game played 28 minutes, had just 6 DraftKings points. He's someone that I'm fine just fading, even though he's starting right now. I don't think that really means he's going to provide much fantasy value. So let's talk about the other side of this game now with Chicago, and this is where it gets interesting. So Chicago, they could be really shorthanded for this game. DeMar DeRozan has already been ruled out for this one for personal reasons. And then Alex Caruso is questionable as well. So without DeRozan, we're going to have to wait and see what the Bulls do with the starting lineup. I'm guessing it'll either be Io or Patrick Williams that starts in place of DeRozan, but it could be Javon Carter. It could be, that's probably it. Like, it's probably either going to be Io or Patrick Williams. So whichever one of Io or Patrick Williams starts, I think is going to be playable for value. If Caruso plays, I guess Caruso could start. But man, like, Vooch and Levine, they're going to have huge roles here. The offense is going to run through Vooch and Levine. It's 7,800, 7,700. Both these guys are way underpriced today. I think these guys should be like 8,800 and 8,700. I mean, we're definitely getting a discount on these guys with DeRozan out here. So I really like both of Vooch and Levine. I'm fine playing them together as well. I think that's something you can do. I think Kobe White is also going to be in line for a bigger role here without DeRozan. Don't mind going to him at 5,500. I would definitely like Kobe White a lot, especially if Caruso's out again, because I think if Caruso's out again, that really secures Kobe White for bigger minutes. And then, depending on what, whoever starts here, whether it's Io or Patrick Williams, I think there's going to be some value to go to from the Bulls. If Caruso's out, I think that, is going to secure Io for pretty big minutes as well. But yeah, there's a lot to like on the Bulls today. Definitely my 2 favorite plays here are Vooch and Levine. But depending on what the starting lineup looks like, I think there could be some value worth targeting from the Bulls as well. But that'll do it for the Bulls. Let's move on to the next game, Minnesota and Phoenix. So Minnesota, they're also on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't think we have to worry about them really sitting anyone, but just did want to mention that. In the spot going up against the Suns, I don't think there's a ton that stands out from the Timberwolves today. Ant is always in play. Don't think this is a slate where I'm going to be going out of my way to play Ant, but I think he's fine at 8,900. Cat feels priced correctly. Rudy Gobert feels priced about right. Mike Conley on this slate, I'll pass on. I know Mike Conley has projected well on some slates lately, but with this slate being 8 games, I think there's just other guys I'd rather play over Mike Conley. There's really not much that stands out in Minnesota today. If I had to play anyone here, I think it would be Ant, but I don't like a ton from the Timberwolves. Now, on the other side with the Suns are another team I just don't have a ton of interest in today. They're going to be getting back Devin Booker for this game. Devin Booker's probable. Bradley Beal's probable as well. He's expected to play. So I think this will be the first time this season we've had Booker, Durant, and Beal all play together in a regular season game. So with all these guys playing, it's just going to really muddy up the usage. Obviously the production's kind of going to be spread around between those guys. Where they're all priced at, Booker 10-3, Durant 9,900, Beal 7,100. I don't think really any of them stand out at their price tags. If I had to pick anyone from Phoenix to play, I think Durant would be my favorite, but I'm probably just going to be passing on Phoenix here. Now that they're getting all their guys healthy again, all the guys are going to be playing. It's just going to be hard to predict who's going to have the good game between these 3. And where they're priced at, I don't think we're really getting much of a discount on any of these guys as well. So, yeah, Phoenix, probably a team I'm fading. And honestly, this game in general is a game that I'm just not super interested in. So let's move on to the next game. 2 more games to hit, guys. Cleveland and Portland. So for Cleveland today, no Darius Garland, no Isaac Okoro. I think this is obviously some big news. Obviously, without Garland, we can expect a really, really big role for Donovan Mitchell. We can expect more usage for Karis LeVert as well. Mitchell and LeVert are going to be the 2 guys that really benefit the most without Garland here. And I think Mitchell at 9,100 looks like a very strong pay-up option on this slate. Definitely one of my favorite spin-ups along with Luka. Mitchell, great matchup here against Portland. Bigger usage coming his way without Garland. Going to play massive minutes as well. We're seeing Donovan Mitchell play like 38 minutes a night right now. Yeah, hard not to like Donovan Mitchell on this slate. I think Evan Mobley at 7,300 is fine to go to as well. I think there's a little bit more upside for him without Garland. I think LeVert, even if he comes off the bench, looks pretty solid. He's been playing big minutes off the bench already this season, and you would think without Garland, he would be in line for even more minutes. So I would definitely like LeVert today. Obviously, if he starts, I'd feel better about him, but I think he's in play regardless. And then Jared Allen, I think, is really interesting at 5,900. So Jared Allen's minutes, since he's come back from injury, have kind of been like in the high 20s. Last game only played 22 minutes. I'm not sure why that was. I would think most nights we're going to get like around 30 minutes from Jared Allen, and I think this is a pretty good matchup for him against Portland. So I definitely like Jared Allen on the slate at 5,900. And I think Max Strus also gets a small boost without Garland, but he's priced where he should be at 5,600. And then, yeah, we'll have to see what they do with the starting lineup. I think they're probably going to start like Dean Wade. They seem to like bringing LeVert off the bench. If Dean Wade starts, I probably wouldn't go there, but did at least want to mention that. So yeah, that's probably it for Cleveland. Definitely a lot to like here. Mitchell and LeVert are my two favorite plays on Cleveland, but I think Mobley's in play. I think Allen's in play as well. But yeah, let's talk about the other side of this game now with Portland. And for Portland today, should be no Malcolm Brogdon once again. Brogdon did not play Tuesday. I'm guessing he won't play today, but this will be something to monitor. If Brogdon remains out, Skylar Mays is going to be the guy getting a lot of those minutes at point guard. Skylar Mays has actually been really good lately from a fantasy perspective. Didn't have the greatest game Tuesday night against the Jazz, but still played over 30 minutes, had over 30 Draftkings points. At 7K, I mean, he's priced correctly now, but I still think Skylar Mays would be playable if Brogdon remains out. Obviously, Shaedon Sharp's going to have a really big role. He's playing 40-plus minutes a night right now. The price tag has been adjusted for that. He's almost 8K, so, we're not getting much of a discount on Shaedon Sharp, but I still think he's playable as well. And then Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton are fine plays. Neither one of them, though, stand out with their price tags. The guy that I do want to talk about is Toumani Camara. So he actually started on Tuesday in place of Matisse Thybulle. They took Matisse Thybulle out of the starting lineup and put Camara in there. I'm guessing that means Camara is going to start here. So if Camara is starting, he is only 3,800. He did start and played 26 minutes on Tuesday, had 20 Draftkings points. I think he's a pretty decent value play on the slate. There's not a ton of standout value right now, at least. So if Toumani Camara does start again, I do like him as a value play. That's pretty much it from Portland, though. I think we can go ahead and move on to the last game of the night, Sacramento and the Lakers. So for the Kings today, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, I think are the two guys we're probably going to be looking to from the Kings. I don't think we're really going to be playing anyone else here. Obviously, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, these guys all got priced up for when De'Aaron Fox was out. So they're all kind of overpriced right now that Fox is back. Fox, though, 8,300 for De'Aaron Fox here against the Lakers. Fast-paced game. I think De'Aaron Fox was like a really appealing play. He came back from injury, played 36 minutes. There were no limitations on him. I'm assuming he plays 36 minutes again in this spot. So really like De'Aaron Fox today, 8,300. Don't mind Sabonis either. I think it's a little bit of a tougher spot for Sabonis. Price tag at 9,800 also makes him a little bit less appealing. I would definitely rather take the savings and play Fox, but I think Sabonis is playable here. De'Aaron Fox, though, I do like a lot at 8,300. I think he's a little bit underpriced today. And then on the other side with the Lakers, so it's the second night of a back-to-back for the Lakers. Definitely going to have to monitor their injury report. Anthony Davis and LeBron, I think we're both on the injury report Tuesday. They both wound up playing. I'm guessing they'll play tonight on the second night of a back-to-back, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see one of them sit, if you see AD sit, or if you see LeBron sit. For now, we just kind of have to assume they're both playing. And if that's the case, AD and LeBron, I think, are both playable here. This should be a pretty good matchup. Should be a fast-paced game, a high-scoring game. I think at 10,200, though, AD's priced about right. Not a standout play at his price tag. And then LeBron at 10K, I think, is priced about right as well. Not a standout price at his price, or not a standout play at his price tag. If I had to choose between one of LeBron or AD, I usually prefer AD just because I think AD does give you the bigger ceiling. He's typically been a better per-minute producer than LeBron has. But I think both LeBron and AD are fine. Neither one stand out, though. The rest of the Lakers, I think, are all a little bit overpriced right now. So if I'm going to play any Lakers today, it's going to be LeBron or AD, one of those two. And that's really it. I don't see anything else I like here. So that'll do it for that game, guys. And that'll do it for this 8-game slate for Wednesday night. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, appreciate you watching. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Be sure to go check out PrizePicks as well, guys. Sign up for PrizePicks, linked down below in the description. Or just when you sign up, make sure to use promo code NOAH. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. Check them out if you have not yet. But that's all that I got for tonight, guys. Good luck on the slate. Appreciate you guys watching the video. As always, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.